Hi friends, hope all of you are feeling fine and safe from the pandemic COVID-19, and we are here to continue with the remaining portion of the IHRM Human Resource Management. Basically, we discuss some things basic about the IHRM or Human Resource Management that is totally related to the way of managing the human being as a resources at the international scenario. We spoke some things about the scope, functions, and basic definitions given by the different scientists and authors. Today we are here to talk some things about the differences, the measure comparison between the HRM and international HRM. So dear students, basically once we say that HRM, so the history and the revolution behind the HRM is human resource management, which is normally and regularly used at each and every country at the national level within the boundary of that particular country, within the geographical environment with respect to the market scenario. Everyone, each and every business organization would be managing their resources as per the policies and procedure NRA. So once we talk about the IHRM, it is a little bit a broad concept. It is a broad discussions. It is a broad management process where we can manage the human resource at the international scenario apart from national scenario. So the first comparison which determined the differences, the major differences between the HRM and IHRM is that we could consider the HRM as a domestic, and domestic HRM is done at the national level and HRM is done at the international level, as I said before. So there are two scenarios from the HRM perspective. One is the national scenario and the another one is international scenario, which is particularly or concisely and concretely called as or known as IHRM. This is the recently changes toward the way of managing the human resources as per the strategic plan of business organization, because each and every business organizations, apart from the having operations relevant to the products or services at the national, but they will be also operating at the international or other geographical environment. The second point is that domestic HRM is concerned with the managing employees belonging to one nation, and IHRM is concerned with the managing employees belonging to many nations, home countries, host countries, and third countries. Basically, we say that the IHRM is the combination of three countries' human resources to be managed. So here, basically, the HRM is considered the way of managing the resources at the national level, whereas the IHRM is always considered the way of managing resources. Which resources? Human resources, staff or employees, at the three different aspects: in the home country, host countries, and the third countries. So the three different countries, human or employees would be coming in a same geographical environment where they are working. So that scenario to be managed is called as IHRM. The other point is that domestic HRM is concerned with the managing limited number of the HRM activities at the national. Basically, HRM is something where it could be considered as a limited in the term of management structures, in the term of hierarchy, organizational hierarchy, in the term of behavior, thoughts, and attitude of the employees at a specific, at a specific geographical environment. But IHRM is considered with the way of managing the additional activities such as expatriate management. So basically, we say that expatriate management is the way of transferring employees from one country to the another country, or from one border to another border. So the other thing is the domestic HRM is less complicated due to the less influence from the external environment, whereas if you talk about the environment factors, the internal and external factors, so more particularly in the term of external environment, so there are some less involvement of the external factors in the national or domestic HRM, but if you talk about the IHRM, there is more involvement of the external factors, like if you talk about the politics, economics, monetary policy, fiscal policies, international and global market, multinational companies, their relationship with the customers, their IMO to be signed, agreement to be done, the way of supply management of the organization at the international level. They involve more factors, external factors during their management process. And the other thing is that IHRM and training and development. There, this is need one of the functions which is always done by the global HR manager to be maintained, that each and every employee is required train employees to be trained. Training is basically done for the purpose of improving the skills and competencies of the employees to work better and to achieve the goal of the organization. So training and development increase in the complexity as a M&E move abroad, and then type of the training and development depend on the number of the factors. So once we talk about the IHRM in the term of training and development, it depends on the factors. For example, the first factor is the degree to which the management is centralized. So we do have two types of the management approaches, that is centralized and decentralized. Centralized is like some things which is totally related to one person, where the decision maker is at the end one person. Once we talk about the decentralized, it means that some things is being divided. Each and every one can take the decision as per their possession or duties and responsibilities. So more concisely, IHRM in the term of training and development shows or determine the degrees of management is going to be centralized. So it means that IHRM always provides centralized system of management within the business organization at the international level. The other point is the type of the workers employed in the subsidiaries or joint ventures. The platform of working environment under the IHRM for the purpose of training would be always the combination of three countries, or the countries of host and home country and other third countries. So obviously the way of conducting the training would be a little bit more complicated, and it would be done more in the system, more in the better system by the name of centralized. The other point is that the importance of branding and the extent to which the employees are expected to be reflected the brand. So the way of creating images in the mind of consumer and customers at the international scenario is something difficult, that each and every person must require some skills that must be provided with the help of training and to be developed and to be promoted. Exactly, if you look to the national marketing aspects of a business organization, that is always done locally, not in a complex system. There is no involvement of the external factors. But once you talk about the way of creating image in the mind of the international consumers, so it requires exactly trainings. And the next point is that the cultural expectation of the training. So basically, because it is diversified nature of the employees within the working environment at the IHRM, so exactly the employees, the culture of the working environment or the culture of the business organization would be expecting some things more valuable, more high profile system of working environment within the business organization, or relevant to the training. If you talk, they need more better system with a high profile, with a higher system training to the employees to be conducted. In a global company, the training may well be centralized so that the supplier, employees and distributions are aware of the brand image that needs to be communicated. That's why the IHRM is considered to be centralized in the term of training, because the supply chain management and the employee distributions of the product, or the exactly brand to be created in the mind of the consumer, is little bit need to be more broadly communicated rather than national level. It should be communicated with the international system also, as we do see today some of the companies are communicating with the international people at a different system. You can give an example of technologies which today we are accessing with the help of social media. We can know some things about the international products. For example, in the Ford training programs are set up centrally and then translated and delivered to the all main suppliers, subsidiaries and distributors. So international trainings and development is something where basically if the language of the people is different, so the way of delivering and supplies of the subsidiaries to the contributors, or to contribute the products to the market, required more better translation systems. Translation in terms of communication, translation in terms of convincing the consumer and customers. If, however, a more polycentric approach is taken, then this training may well be far more local and more in a line with the local culture. So they are not going to follow the polycentric approaches to the IHRM. There would be another approaches which we'll be discussing in our future classes. So there are different approaches toward the IHRM. So basically polycentric is one of the approaches. That what type of the approaches is this we will be discussing at a specific lecture. And then international human resource management performance management is this system. This is also known as a PM. The PM system at the global scenario is very important process of human resource management. In a general, it implies an assessment of the current or previous result of the performance of the employees team or whole organization. It is based for many business practices related to the HRM. Exactly. Basically, performance appraisal is the comparison between, or in the way of finding out that the, or it could be in an assessment, some type of assessment that always determine or shows the result between the previous what has been done, which task and responsibility has been given, what the current scenario of the working. Either both are matching, either both are moving perfectly as per the plan and policy and strategy of the business organization to achieve the goal or not. Employee team or a whole organization is based many businesses practices related to the HRM. Exactly, each and every businesses today practices the HRM in a more better systematic manner. The need for the staff and training, new to recruitment, career development, rewarding, etc. avoid literature. So it exactly is some things broad theory that must be considered, that must be put it in the policy and strategy of the business organization, that how to recruit at the international, how to recruit exactly a new employee to the business organization, based on which steps and procedure, based on which scenario, and how we are gonna to talk some things about or decide about the career planning of the employees at the international level. As we give an example of insurance today, the insurance followed by the different companies in a systematic manner is one of the portion of the international human resource management. As it is here that avoid literature, literature sources emphasize that PM or performance appraisal is a complex process. Exactly, it is not something easy. It always determines the annual report of the employees to be analyzed or assessed, that either which employees is performing better and which employees is not performing better. The performance better assessment must be promoted and rewarded, and the low performance holder would be always disencouraged, and they would be leaving the organization, or there would be some of the punishment. So especially when the global market is in the scope of the research. So basically today each and every businesses or multinational companies which are operating at the international level are always having this research scope. They are researching behind each and every aspects of the business, and then they are trying to manage it. So international human resource management compensation. Compensation is basically the way of payment to the employees, or in the term of salary or in the term of wage. So let's start our discussion with this particular point of the IHRM. So once we say that compensation, in a very simple term, compensation is the result or rewards that the employees receive in the return for their work. Exactly, each and every human must be working, and quite opposite of that, they would be benefited, they would be rewarded, they would be compensated. So benefits and compensation must be equal. For example, if someone is working more and better, so he or she would be getting better salary and better reward, and someone is medium, so he or she would be getting some medium rewards. Compensation is include payment in like bonus, profit, as I said before, profit sharings, or overtime payment, extra working hours must be paid, recognition rewards, and sales commissions. And by some of the sales aspects is that always done through the commission, so commission also must be paid to the wholesaler or reseller or whatever is going on within the market, and etc. Compensation is also include non-monetary perks. Compensation is also two types. So the methods of the compensation is of two types. One is financial compensation and non-financial, which is also known as intrinsic and extrinsic payment, or which is also known as some things by the name of money payment and non-money payment. So the money payment is clear in the term of cash or salary or wage or whatever is going on today in a business organization. Once we talk about the non-monetary or non-financial compensation system, is like company paid card, facilities, and then paid house, rent, opportunities, facilities, and drivers, all right, insurance, all right, and then the accidents and other things must be paid. So these things are called as like purpose certificate, the motivations in the term of seminar, and other things are also known as a non-mandatory compensation system. Compensation is a vital, very important, very important, and significant, and very huge part of the business organization in the term of human resources, which helps in encouraging the employees and improving organizational effectiveness. Exactly, the goal of each and every business organization is to be effective. In order to be effective, so the composition system of the organization must be perfect. Perfectness in the term of giving financial pay compensations to the employees, and or in the term of giving non-financial compensation system, the payment to the employees. From the manager's point of view, the compensation package offered to the company employees is essential, and then hope it is working. So, where is that? Let me just check it out with the record, whether it is moving or not. Yeah. Yeah, hope it is working perfectly. So as I said, we say that the compensation is a package offered to the company employees is essential to not only to because it's cost money, but because it's likely to be primary reason to the employees work for the firm. So it's some things initially and annually the employee would be always motivating with the help of the benefits which they get from the employees, from the companies, excuse me. So if you talk about the salary, if the salary is perfect, the employee would be working better, as we know that. So human resource management, like the employees relation, this is also one of the major functions that human resource management is. Relationships are at the heart of any modern organization today. Due to the complexity of the business, each and every business organizations are having the different relations with the different companies, either national, international, Asians and Russians and Europe countries are having different type of relation in terms of business. Export and import is also one part of the linkage or the relations of the multinational companies. So our human resource management is an employee relations major focus on the understanding people and relationship at work. Exactly, once we say that HRM is something where we talk about the management of human resources, it is also one of the things that the human resource relation must be managed in the term of communication, culture, thought, beliefs, perceptions, ideas, and other things. So, major focus on the understanding of the work, what makes the organization work, what motivate employees, and what the futures work could be done. So these are things that how they can aggregate the different people from the different nationals to work together and provide them and maintain them such an environment where they can develop and they expand and they maintain and manage their relationship between the three levels of management related to the different geographical environment. So this is something about the that particular what we say relationships of the IHRM, which is one of the important functions. So let me read it out. You explore how employees, employers, government, and trade unions shape people experience of work and the outcomes from the work. Choice from the a wide range of the papers to tailor your study to your interests. So you can investigate the relationship between the strategic human resource management and the organizational performance, inequalities in the work and organizations, and the way to build in exclusives in the organizations. Like you can also explore employees regulations issues, organ negotiations and conflict management, strategic career management, and work related injuries and illness and how to prevent them. So basically these all points are considered as a human resource management in the term of relationship. Yeah, thank you so much. This is the measure. I'm going to summarize it. Measure functions or measures things that is coming under the comparison between the national, international, or domestics or international HRM, and then in the term of training and development IHRM, in the term of performance appraisal IHRM, in the term of compensations IHRM, in the term of employees relationship. So I will be concluding here. God bless you, stay happy, and we will be back by the next lecture.